Yeah, that's what I need for you. Vehicle. There you go. And this will go up, not down. Is that even... Yeah, that should be properly placed. So that'll be the fetal serum. I don't think I have any other fluids as an input. So, yeah, that's a few things. I need bedding, salt, ash, tufa, bodos, raw fiber, tin, iron oxide, moondrop, and manure as inputs. Yeah, just a few things. Just a few things as inputs into this bone build. I need to clear out a lot of space here. I will be building up from above. I should not need to really extend this at all. If anything, I would add an additional way to get out from above. So let's draw a line from here. This line is going to be the line that I build against. As in, this... Everything else needs to be built above this line. I mean, technically above this line, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Yeah. So I think unlike this build, unlike this build here and this build here that was built downwards along this rail, I'm actually going to, like, it'll be rotated sideways. Rotated sideways. Going outwards this way rather than along the track. Yeah, that's how I will do this. And it will start with producing some glorious biomass, which will need oil, which I do not have nearby. Oh, no, there's medium oil and small oil. That I think is the closest source. Of a small oil. I cannot tap a big oil. There's oil way up there and right there. Just need one. So, pipe or additional input. Additional fluid input. I'm thinking it's about dang time I actually use a train station that has existed this entire time but hasn't been used. This train station. So I have this nice little crude oil patch sitting right here that I made a very long time ago. Way back before even having niobium pipe. And yeah, it's got a little bit of crude oil. So I will just tack on another fluid input station for this oil. I can just grab all of that and go with it. We'll go with that spacing. think that's about the proper spots for those signals. Build all those things. Destroy that. Alright, you are officially going to be Bones Crude. And you are going to bring in crude oil. This one is Bones Fetal Serum. And you will bring in Fetal Serum. Which exists where in this list? Right here. Alright, here. Bring in the Fetal Serum. Huh, only one. Right, it only will bring one because the amount that I'm requesting is less than the... It's less than 2 trains worth, so it only really needs to bring in one because I'm using the black fluid wagons for these, which hold 75k each. Yeah, it's a bit of fluid that gets used in these. I will need the output pump. Now I have all of the oil I will ever require for this build. Even if it gets nerfed on the oil to biomass ratio, I will still have plenty. What did you miss in the last 10 to 15 minutes? I built a train station. And I've decided to bring oil in by train for my first step. My very first step in this process. Nerf what? Nerf the amount of oil required to do the biomass that I expect will happen at some point. How many spots am I going to need for the minibus? Let's say that many. Ooh. My throat. Just sudden sharp pain. Hate when that happens. I hate when there's sudden sharp pain in the throat. No, I don't know the amount it would be nerfed by. I would assume a factor of 5. Because that's really what it needs. At least a factor of 5. 12 to 15. Yeah. That is fine, actually. And you know what? I don't have to adjust at all for this build. So let's see. By a factor of 12 to 15 times more crude for biomass. Now that's from the perspective of fuel value conversion that we talked about last stream. You gain an absolute ton of fuel value in the current state. Going into biomass, it depends on what your perspective is should you gain any fuel value, or should you lose fuel value, or should it be about the same going from fluid to solid fuel? I don't know. There's also this slightly complicating factor in that there are several recipes for combustion mixture that we can see here. Benzene into combustion mixture, just as an example. A whole bunch of recipes were added that take biomass as an ingredient, which makes biomass the objectively best option between these two things. Why? Because biomass inherently has a fuel value of 4 megajoules coke of 5, you lose more megajoules of fuel value by using the 3 coke versus the 3 biomass, on top of the fact that it's so much easier to get biomass than coke inherently. So maybe biomass needs to be 5 megajoule fuel value. Or maybe this needs to use 1 more unit of biomass than it does of coke for every recipe. Maybe. Just maybe. This is so close to the main section that I'm going to use those. So this will be our line of power that's going to go down here, and I'm not going to bother mucking about with the exact placements of these. I do anticipate it will extend this far. Oh, believe me, it will extend this far. And even further. The way I'm building this. Just clearing some trees. Do I expect going all the way down here? Yes. Expect that you will go at least twice as far as you think you're going to go in terms of the amount of space that you need. Just expect it. It's going to happen, no matter what. But for now, though, continuing the build. This requires tailings that I don't have in the plan. 13.89. It also requires some sand, doesn't it? Or does it not? Do you need sand anywhere? Yes, you do. You need 3.34. Oh, right. I remember the last time I did this. Yeah, that's what happened. Like, what even is causing this absolute stupidity? Like, what? Why? This makes no sense. Like, seriously. Why do I need... Why do I not need any ethylene now? Like, what? What? All because I added sand. Remove the sand and it's fine, but don't have the sand and it's bleh. Oh, there's a little icon now that says this is the burnt product. That's new. That's new to Hellmod. That little indicator saying that this is basically your fuel that you are using to make the steam. First time I've noticed anyway, this little dot that says what it is when you hover over it. That's interesting. Yeah, so output good things. You are outputting glorious stuffs. Now, let's get cooking on... Excuse me, why did you not update? So next is the soil. I need 3 something on the actual sand production. So it's one washer, couple extra soils. So we'll go with that spacing, sure. We'll do one more. Shift that down a little bit. Give me soil. All of the soil that you can. And water. Need lots and lots of water. And in fact, 5 of these uses quite a bit. Yeah. It uses more water than normal. There we go. That's what I want. So I can do that, and that, and that. Ta-da! Ta-da! There that goes. Just add power. There we go. All successful. And there's sand. Yay, sand. It'll get blocked by tailings shortly. I need coffee. More coffee. Coffee, please. All of this is going to prep for Ralesia. If that's what I want to do first. Or do I want to do the guar? I think I want to do the guar first. Yeah, I want to do the guar first because that is the sand and the soil. So that'll be next. Next on this chain of stuffs. Guar plantations. Good old glorious guar. You are going to give me, by the way, you make niobium enriched biomass. Good to know. This is the only other thing using, not the only other thing using soil, so it's, that spacing. So I need to continue on with soil. Take this up. That's an odd number. So that should be the spacing I need. Alright, that covers stuff. Ooh. There. Power! I need to overflow valve. and destroy excess tailings. Yeah, it makes a few more tailings than what I need in this fluid separator up here for the benzene. Okay, that will be the guar. I put that below so that I can just go straight across with the power poles. There we go. It's guar! What is next? That shall be next. The Ralesia. I guess that's the guar done. And the Ralesia is going to need the flue gas, which needs the ash. Alright, that is in one gas refinery. One whole gas refinery. One beautiful, glorious gas refinery giving me ash. If I can find this recipe. This particular singular recipe that is just converting ash back to flue gas, basically. That's all it's doing. It's just gonna take ash in and convert it back. So, what does that mean? That means our first train station here. This one is going to be called Bones Ash. And it's going to bring ash in. Ash is on coal processing. There. So now we should have ash being brought in. I will shove it out. That away. So, why do I even have these green loaders? These loaders are able to output 3 times the throughput of a red belt. These are 3x a single red belt, which makes them useful in situations such as in trains. I could use them for trains, as long as I also have like 6 red belts immediately afterwards. So, if I need the throughput, I can have it, but most of the time I don't think I'll particularly need it. It would be good in very specific situations. Very, very specific situations. But not every situation. Things like, I don't know, the lead, I guess, over the high grade lead stuff, wherever I still have that. This nonsense. You know, this stuff right here. Now, I know I have it stacked and it has to unstack, but I could do this differently by making use of just a single ultra-fast loader or 2 ultra-fast loaders and have 6 red belts of stuff out of them. Instead of having to try to get 4 into these, it could be 6 and not worry at all about stuffs, but yeah. Things! Thingies! Thingy-ma-doohickeys! Still moving, I like. How's the silver going? We've got 58k silver in each of those. And the lead is still being produced, still filling this chest as well. Good. There's my flue gas. Which means that the next step... Alright, so I have the ash. Next step is Ralesia plantations. I need 8 Ralesia plantations. This has 3. Wait, why is there an out? Oh, yeah, there has to be an output port now. There has to be an output port now on these for when you do the nickel enriched biomass for the wastewater output. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so yeah, this is the Ralesia's 8. Ralesia's 8 recipe. That is what I am using for this. I do not have Mark II Ralesia. That is not the proper Ralesia. This is the proper Ralesia. So, Mark II Ralesia does not have the breeding program stuff yet to give you a better output than 0.005 or a half of 1%. 1/2 of 1% chance that this actually succeeds to give you a Mark II. King is going through all the various stuffs slowly to give us an additional recipe or set of recipes that will have a higher than a 0.5% chance of success. However, they require that you have Mark IIs, so you have to do this at least. You have to succeed at least twice. You have to succeed on this at least twice, and then you get like a 25% chance of getting more of the Mark II stuff. It's like that with several things, but not complete yet, in which Ralesia is on that to-do list, as well as Moondrop is on that to-do list, and, several other things. I have the Mark II stuff of the stuff I can do the Mark II stuff with currently, I think. And I don't think I can do the Mark II stuff of the stuff that I don't have yet. Things like the Augs. Augs have a Mark II upgrade path now. Raise Aug 2 program. Yeah, this is work for these particular Mark IIs. So, oh god, yeah, right. So this is the initial recipe that you need to do, that you need to succeed at least twice at, or however many times. This is your initial recipe, where you have to feed them energy drinks and nanofibrils from a pup. So you need to make pups, and then you need to give them energy drinks, albumin, and nanofibrils. I have the albumin. The nanofibrils, that's going to require chitosan, which is going to require mutant enzymes, which is going to require these things, which is Scrondrix, which Scrondrix, these guys, the first Scrondrix. God, yeah, the first Scrondrix is going to be out of Arthurian eggs, and the alien sample 3s, which, stuff, graphene. So yeah, it's gonna take a while for some of that. Gonna take a little while for some of that. We're not there yet. Alright, there's flue gas, and yes, I need 8 of these. So, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. There we go. 8! 1, 2, 3, 4 solid inputs. I'll do this a little differently. We'll have 1 pair here, 1 pair here, and the output. These things use quite a few units of stuff, quite a few inserters to do everything. Pairing like that is fine-ish for these on that side, but not so much on this side. Just because of power, for the most part. There we go. They have the power! Now to give them the actual things that they need. Soil biomass. Is this the only thing? No, not the only thing on the biomass. Of course! Of course it's not the only thing. Not the only thing for either of them. Yeah. Ugly, but it works. So that's those two things. The other two things are the seeds and the manure. Now the seeds are the next step. If I have my botanical nurseries, we need 3 botanical nurseries on this step, doing Ralesia seeds. This also needs the water, right? Water! I need you! Speaking of water, I finally played through and finished playing Subnautica last night. Finally finished, quote unquote. Got through the end. It took me a long time, very, very long time, to actually just sit and take the time to play through that game, and I think that's just the thoughts on Subnautica as it exists. It's just It is an extremely buggy mess of a game. That is my overall impressions. It is a buggy mess. And they should not be proud of how many issues there are. Most of which are because they used Unity, I think, for their game engine. Like, really? Like, I cannot count the times I got stuck. Yes, Bethesda level type physics BS is the main issue. Main set of issues I had were related to physics and object placement. So it's like, it was, yeah. I literally had a dive suit get stuck at near the very end of the game in one of the last facilities that you go into, one of the last. I got stuck on an incline. and I was supposed to be like not in the water, but for some reason the suit thought it was in the water, and it was just it stuck. It got stuck. It couldn't move. There was no way to unstuck the the vehicle I was in, the dive suit I was in. So I had to literally cheat to make another dive suit, or I would have died. It was great, such a great experience to have my vehicle inside of this facility get completely stuck and not be able to move for no reason whatsoever. Like that really made me angry. Really, really, really made me angry. And then the other physics thing that made me angry is that I built a giant submarine, right? I built a giant submarine. I built a whole bunch of things that you could put inside of this submarine. When I tried to actually use it and drive away, I couldn't move. I could turn a bit. I could sort of go forward and back a little bit, but it would just stop, but it wouldn't like move forward or move backward. It was just stuck in place because I built a chair inside of this thing. I built a chair. A chair that didn't get physically placed on this vehicle. It didn't attach to the floor. It got built in space without being attached to the floor. And it had collision. So trying to move the submarine, that chair literally prevented the submarine from moving forward when the chair hit a wall. I kid ye not. And this is an issue that has been present for 2+ years and has not been fixed because the devs have moved on to producing the standalone expansion to this game. Like, what? You haven't even finished the base game yet, is how it feels. It feels like an unfinished product. That is exactly how Subnautica feels. Base game. It feels unfinished, which is a shame. An absolute shame. This one is going to be Bones Manure. It's going to output on this side, I've decided.